Hello friend, once again welcome to our video. This is video number 4 based on chemical kinetics. In this video we will study the molecularity of elementary reactions. So first of all, see what is meant by elementary reactions. So, on the basis of number of steps involved in the chemical reactions are classified as elementary reactions and complex reactions. So, try to understand what is meant by elementary reactions. The reactions which occurs in a single step and cannot be broken down into simpler reactions are called elementary reactions. Try to understand. So what are the elementary reactions? So the reactions which occurs just within a single step and do not break down into simpler reactions. Let us consider the examples. The decomposition of ozone molecule into O2 gaseous and oxygen atom like this. So this is a single step reaction and that's why this is called as an elementary reaction. Similarly, ethyl iodide decomposed into ethene or ethylene and HI, gaseous HI. So this is also the one step reaction. Again, decomposition of H2O2, that is hydrogen peroxide, into water and gaseous oxygen. This is also an elementary reaction. So all such reactions which occurs or takes place in a single step are called elementary reactions. Whereas the another type of chemical reactions are the complex reactions. And what are the complex reactions? Complex reactions are those which occurs in more than one step or which constitute a series of elementary reactions. Try to understand. What are the complex reactions? The reactions which occurs in more than one step or which constitute a series or number of elementary reactions in it. So such reactions are called as the complex reactions. Let us see the example of complex reaction. Nitrile chloride decompose into nitrogen dioxide and chlorine, gaseous chlorine. So this reaction takes place in two steps. See, in the first step, nitrile chloride gives nitrogen dioxide plus one atom of chlorine, and in second step again this nitrile chloride gives nitrogen dioxide plus the chlorine gas. So in this way the reaction takes place in two steps. The what we call it, two molecules of nitrile chloride produces nitrogen dioxide plus chlorine gas, and the reaction takes place in two steps. So this is the first step and this is the second step. So as the more than one steps are involved, that's why such reactions are called as the complex reactions. Molecularity, this term is used for only the elementary reactions. So see the molecularity of reactions. Definition: the molecularity of an elementary reaction is defined as number of reactant molecules taking part in the reaction. So that is what is the molecularity? पहा, एखाद्या रिएक्शनची जी मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी म्हणजे काय, तर मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी ही टर्म जी आहे तर एलिमेंटरी रिॲक्शनसाठीच किंवा एलिमेंटरी रिॲक्शनसाठीच वापरतात मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी. कॉम्प्लेक्स रिॲक्शनची मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी पाहत नाहीत तर एलिमेंटरी रिॲक्शनची. आणि म्हणून व्हॉट इज दिस मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी? सो दिस इज नथिंग बट the number of reactant molecules taking part in the reaction. The number of reactant molecules. So in this way, the molecularity of reaction is defined as the molecularity of an elementary reaction is defined as the number of reactant molecules taking part in the reaction. The molecularity refers to how many reactant molecules are involved in reactions. पहा, अतिशय सिंपल साधी अशी ही कॉन्सेप्ट आहे. मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी म्हणजे काय? सो जस्ट हाऊ मेनी नंबर ऑफ रिॲक्टंट मॉलिक्युल्स आर इन्व्हॉल्ड इन द पर्टिक्युलर रिॲक्शन. So that gives the molecularity of that particular reaction. On the basis of molecularity, reactions are classified as unimolecular, bimolecular and so on depending on the number of reactant molecules involved. आणि म्हणून पहा, मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी म्हणजे काय? रिॲक्टंट मॉलिक्युलची ओव्हरऑल एकूण किती संख्या आहे. How many reactant molecules are there or how many reactant molecules are involved in the reaction, that is the molecularity. And depending upon that, further it is classified as unimolecular, bimolecular, trimolecular and so on. Let us see the example of unimolecular reaction. In unimolecular reaction, a single molecule undergoes reaction. See, very simple concept. See here, ozone on decomposition produces oxygen gas plus oxygen atom. The molecularity of this reaction is unimolecular. Only one reactant is there, and that's why the molecularity is unimolecular, or this is also called as the monomolecular reaction. Similarly, ethyl iodide gives ethylene plus HI. This is also example of unimolecular reaction. Unimolecular, what is the molecularity? That is 1. Molecularity of such reactions is 1. Only one reactant is there. Reactant molecule is there, and therefore this is also an example of unimolecular reaction. The elementary reactions involving two reactant molecules. Very simple concept is there. Just how many number of reactant molecules are there? Just count the number of molecules, reactant molecules in the reaction. That gives the molecularity, and accordingly unimolecular, bimolecular, etc. So this is the example of bimolecular reactions. See here, what is that? O3 gaseous plus O. So one molecule of ozone and another oxygen of atom of oxygen. So this is also an example of, now see, the bimolecular reaction. See here, again you can understood now. So decomposition of nitrogen dioxide. Two molecules of nitrogen dioxide are there. Two molecules, just two molecules, and that's why this is also an example of bimolecular, or molecularity of such reaction is 2, because just two reactants are there. Two reactant molecules are there. Therefore, then order and molecularity of elementary reactions. The rate law for the elementary reaction. See here. So this reaction, decomposition of nitrogen dioxide into nitrogen monoxide, what we call it, nitric oxide plus O2 gaseous. The rate law is found to be, that is the experimental determined thing, rate is found to be, see here, rate is given like this for this reaction. K molar concentration of PnO2, its square. So what it indicates? So order of this reaction is 2. So this is an example of second order reaction. We know well what is meant by order of reaction. So in this case, the order of this reaction is 2. That is shown like this. The reaction is second order and bimolecular. See here. So in this way, combinedly, how it is given? The rate is given like this. So it indicates the order of this reaction is 2. So how the rate is depends upon the concentration of NO2 that is given with the help of this rate law expression or rate law equation. And so therefore this is an example of second order and bimolecular, being two molecules of NO2 are involved. So this is an example of second order and bimolecular reaction. The order of reaction is 2 and its molecularity is also 2. For the elementary reaction, for this reactions here, look at this. The rate is written. Again, we know that this is the experimentally determined thing. Rate law or rate expression is written. The rate is depends on the concentration of this reactant. How? Linearly. So here order of reaction is 1. It is unimolecular and first order. So being only one molecule is involved, so this is an example of unimolecular. Molecularity is, that is monomolecular, and first order is given here. See here, order not written here because this is the again first order. Rate is depends upon or linearly proportional to this, that is shown with the help of rate law or rate expression. However, the order and molecularity of the reaction may or may not be the same. आता पहा या एक्झाम्पल्स मध्ये आपल्याला दिसते की ऑर्डर आणि मॉलिक्युलॅरिटी सेम आहे. इथेही तसंच आहे, फर्स्ट ऑर्डर अँड युनिमॉलिक्युलर. Let us see one more example for this elementary reaction, that is nitrogen monoxide when treated with gaseous oxygen, it produces 2 NO2 gases. So the rate law expression is given. Rate law expression is like this. So how the rate is depends on the concentration of this nitrous oxide and the concentration of the oxygen. So it is the example of trimolecular, or that is also called as termolecular, and the order is third order reaction. See here how the third order, see here, that is experimentally given here, how the rate is depends on. So we know that the sum of the powers or the sum of the exponents of the concentration terms used in the rate law expression gives the order of reaction. So in the previous video we all studied in details regarding to the order of reaction. Here we have to study just molecularity. So actual number of molecules involved in the reactant molecules. Don't forget actual number of reactant molecules. How many reactant molecules are there? Look at this, 2 molecules of NO, nitrogen oxide, 2 molecules of NO plus 1 molecule of oxygen. Therefore, the molecularity is 3. Molecularity is 3, and again the order is also third order reaction. Okay. Then one more important aspect is in the chemical kinetics, that is rate determining step. So try to understand what is this. What is meant by rate determining step? So in case of a chemical reaction, or in a number of chemical reactions are complex. A number of chemical reactions are complex. That is the reactions which occurs in more than single step are called as the complex reactions, or in this case the series of elementary reactions are involved there, or several elementary reactions are present in case of a complex reaction. Therefore, that takes place as a series of elementary steps. One of these steps is the slower than others. Now try to understand what is that. So actually the mechanism of a chemical reaction, that is what is meant by mechanism, that is it explain the detailed description about a particular chemical reaction, how it takes place, or how many number of substeps are involved in that chemical reaction, that gives the mechanism. And the slowest step in the rate determining step. So one of these steps is slower. So when several steps are involved in a reaction, in a complex reaction, one of these steps is slower. One of these steps is slower than the others, and the slowest step is the rate determining step. So try to understand what is that. What is the rate determining step? So when that is mechanism of a chemical reaction is given, what it means, that is a particular chemical reaction is described, or mechanism means what? The description of a particular chemical reaction, or that is the detailed description of a specific particular chemical reaction, that is called as mechanism. And in this case, one of the step is found to be having the slow rate compared to the others, and such step which is having the slowest step or slowest rate, slowest step is the rate determining step. See, so again this is find out from its mechanism, or again this is the experimental study, or this can be find out with the help of the performing that particular reaction in the laboratory. So again this is the experimental, or this is a practical knowledge. The slowest step determines the rate of overall reaction. So remember what you have to remember: the slowest step determines the rate of overall reaction. The rate of reaction is depends upon what? The slowest step. It is depends upon the slowest step. Rate of overall reaction is depends on the slowest step. Consider, see here again, nitrile chloride gives nitrogen dioxide plus Cl2 gaseous. The reaction takes place in two steps. We already studied this. See here, so in the first step, the first molecule of nitrile chloride gives nitrogen dioxide plus chlorine gas. So experimentally this is observed that this is the slow one. This is the slow one or slowest step. And second one, that is nitrile chloride plus the Cl. So again it nitrile chloride decomposes to produce NO2 gases, and Cl2 gas is produced there, and this it is observed that this is the fastest step, and that's why the first step being the slower than the second, it is the rate determining step. That is what. Now see what is the rate determining step. The slowest step in the mechanism of the chemical reaction is the rate determining step. So rate law, that is the practically given of this like this, experimentally determined term, that is how rate is depends upon this. So see, then reaction intermediate, one more concept or terminology used in the chemical kinetics while studying the mechanism or rate of the reaction. Reaction intermediate. See here, what is this? In the below example, again the same example, that is the how the nitrile chloride produces the nitrogen dioxide and chlorine gas. So this reaction, in the below reaction, Cl is formed in the first step and consumed in the second. See, so this is important. What is meant by a reaction intermediate? So these are the products which are formed in between the reaction. How? In the below reaction, Cl is formed in the first step. See here, look at this. This chlorine atom is produced from the first molecule of nitrile chloride and consumed in the second step. And in the next step, or subsidial, what we call it, or in the second step, produced in the first step, and it is utilized or consumed in the second step. So this is called as the reaction intermediate. See, what is that? What is mean by reaction intermediate? Try to understand. Such a species represents the reaction intermediate. The concentration of reaction intermediate does not appear in the rate law as that of the catalysts. We know that. That is, the reactions proceeds in the presence of catalyst, but catalysts do not take part in the reaction. Similarly, the intermediates are not appears in the rate law or rate law expression. The catalyst, and we know that similarly as that of the catalyst, so these intermediates also do not appears in the rate law. The concentration of reaction intermediate does not appears in the rate law. So what is C? What is meant by reaction intermediate? The species formed in one step of the mechanism and is consumed in the next step is called the reaction intermediate. So there may be the simple question. So what is a reaction intermediate? The species formed in one step of the mechanism and is consumed in next step is called the reaction intermediate. पहा, लक्षात येतं का तुमच्या या ठिकाणी? आता हा जो क्लोरीन ॲटम जो आहे, एकच एक्झाम्पल आपण पाहत आहोत. या एक्झाम्पलमध्ये Cl क्लोरीन ॲटम इथे तयार होतो फर्स्ट स्टेपमध्ये, आणि सेकंड स्टेपमध्ये तो युटिलाइज होतो. तर अशा पद्धतीने दॅट इज द लाईफ ऑफ द इंटरमिडिएट इज व्हेरी शॉर्ट. So they are produced, intermediate species produced in the first step, and in the consecutive sex in the second step, that is utilized. So that is reaction intermediate. Okay, so that is what. Then, so one more important aspect, the distinction between the order and molecularity. So there may be the simple question in the examination, distinguish between order of reaction and molecularity of the reaction. Now we are able or capable to distinguish, as we are already studied both these terms. So what is order? Try to understand. It is experimentally determined property. So order is always experimentally found thing. It is determined experimentally only. It is theoretical entity. Molecularity, so we can find the molecularity theoretically, whether it is unimolecular, bimolecular, so on. It is theoretical entity. Molecularity, it is theoretical entity. See order, the sum of powers of or exponents of the concentration terms of the reactants, those appears in the rate law. That is defined as the order. The sum of powers or the exponents of the concentration terms of reactants, those appears in the rate law. While molecularity, it is the number of reactant molecules taking part in an elementary reaction. Just a number. It is the number of reactant molecules taking part in an elementary reactions. See, order, it may be integer, fraction, or zero. That is what, first order, second order, third order, or it may be in the fraction, or it may be zero order. That is, rate does not depends upon the particular reactant. But molecularity is always integer. That is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So how many reactants just involved, that gives the molecularity. That is reactant molecules. Only the reactant molecules of the reaction mixture gives the molecularity. Then order valid for elementary as well as complex reaction. So it is possible to experimentally determine the order of a elementary reaction, single step reaction, or complex reaction. But molecularity is applicable or useful only in case of the elementary reactions. In case of the complex reactions, molecularity is not meaningful. So that is what. So in this way, we will distinguish between the order and molecularity of reaction. Let us study the application of this term, that is the molecularity of a elementary reaction, or how to determine now molecularity is here. So simple such type of a problem. A reactions occur in the following steps. So again, so the example of what now see here, nitrogen dioxide treated with fluorine gas, it produces nitrile fluoride. Instead of nitrile chloride, let us see the example of nitrile fluoride plus fluorine gas. And again, this is the slow step. So again, this is observed experimentally while studying the mechanism. So this is the slow step. This is the slow step. And the first step is second. That is gaseous fluorine plus NO2 gaseous. It gives nitrile fluoride. Again, so there may be the such type of numerical in the examination. So write the equation of overall reaction. So two steps are given. Write the equation of the overall reaction. Write down rate law. So again, rate law, that is experimentally predicted rate law. Identify the reaction intermediate. So we have to find out what are the reaction intermediates are there. So how to solve such type of simple numerical. The addition of two steps gives the overall reaction. How one can able to write the overall reaction? Just addition. पहा, आता दोन्हीची बेरीज करायची आहे आपल्याला. या दोन स्टेप आहे त्यांची बेरीज कशी करणार आपण पहा. लुक ॲट दिस आहे. अगोदर रिॲक्टंट साईडची बेरीज, नंतर प्रोडक्ट साईडची बेरीज आहे. सिमिलर टर्म्स असतील लेफ्ट हँड साईडला आणि राईट हँड साईडला, तर त्या कॅन्सल होतील ॲडिशन करत असताना. जसं पहा, फ्लोरिन गॅसियस आणि हा फ्लोरिन गॅसियस, इथे हे कॅन्सल होईल. मग आता काय राहिलंय पहा, NO2 गॅसेस, NO2 गॅसेस म्हणून 2 NO2 गॅसेस यांची बेरीज केली तर 2 NO2 गॅसेस प्लस, पहा हे F2 गॅसियस रिॲक्टंट साईडला. प्रोडक्ट साईडला पहा काय राहिले 2NO2F 1 अँड दिस सेकंड 2NO2F. तर अशा पद्धतीने जस्ट अल्जेब्राइक समेशन दोन्हीची बेरीज करायची आहे. लेफ्ट हँड साईड आणि राईट हँड साईडला असलेल्या सेम टर्म्स असतील त्या कॅन्सल होतात. अल्जेब्राइक कॅन्सलेशन जसं आपण करतो त्या पद्धतीनं. आणि म्हणून ओव्हरऑल रिॲक्शन लिहिणं सोपं काम आहे. दोन्ही रिॲक्टंट साईड त्यांची बेरीज करायची आहे, प्रोडक्ट साईड त्यांची बेरीज करायची राहिलेले कॅन्सल केल्याच्या नंतर. तर हे पहा ही ओव्हरऑल रिॲक्शन झाली. Then step first is the slow. So that is given, mentioned in the numerical. This is the slow one. The step first is slow. The rate law of the reaction is predicted from its stoichiometry. Rate law पहा याच्यावरून आपल्याला आता हा रेट लॉ इथे आपल्याला लिहिता येईल जे की दिलेला आहे. So in this case what is that? How the rate is depends upon the concentrations of these two. So again that is experimental thing. The rate law is given like this. So majority of times काय असेल पहा हा रेट लॉ किंवा रेट एक्सप्रेशन ही दिलेली असेल, कारण ही एक्सपेरिमेंटल गोष्ट आहे, आपल्याला नाही सांगता येत. याच्या स्टायोचोमेट्रीपासून आपण ही लिहू शकतो, फक्त असं लिहू शकतो आपण कारण असं इथे दाखवलंय म्हणून. स्लो स्टेप आहे त्या पद्धतीनं. एफ इज प्रोड्युस्ड इन स्टेप फर्स्ट अँड कन्झ्युम्ड इन स्टेप सेकंड और एफ इज द रिॲक्शन इंटरमिडिएट. स्लो स्टेप आहे, इथे फ्लोरीन तयार झालेला आहे आणि इमिडिएटली सेकंड स्टेपमध्ये तो रिॲक्ट झालेला आहे, यूज झालेला आहे, म्हणून याला आपण रिॲक्शन इंटरमिडिएट म्हणतो. वन मोर एक्झाम्पल सी. लेट अस कन्सिडर ए कॉम्प्लेक्स रिॲक्शन टेक्स प्लेस इन 2 स्टेप्स. ही रिॲक्शन दिलेली आहे 2 स्टेप्समध्ये. सो अगेन दिस एक्झाम्पल इज गिवन इन युअर बुक, टेक्स्ट बुक. सो हाऊ we have to solve this numerical. The predicted rate law is like this. So again this is given in the numerical. So what is the rate law with these 2 steps that is given rate law. Identify the rate determining step. काय विचारलाय प्रश्न? Identify the rate determining step. Write the overall reaction. Which is the reaction intermediate? Why? पाहता असा प्रश्न आहे. कसं सॉल्व्ह करायचं पहा. द ॲडिशन ऑफ 2 स्टेप्स गिव्स द ओव्हरऑल रिॲक्शन. ओव्हरऑल रिॲक्शन आपल्याला लिहिता येते, स्टेप्स दिलेले असतील तर याची बेरीज होईल. जसं आपण पहिल्या एक्झाम्पलमध्ये पाहिलं, रिॲक्टंट साईडला जे मॉलिक्युल्स आहेत आणि प्रोडक्ट साईडला जे आहेत सेम असतील लेफ्ट हँड साईडला आणि राईट हँड साईडला, ते कॅन्सल होतील. आहे जसं इथे पहा काय काय कॅन्सल होईल. NO3 गॅसियस लेफ्ट हँड साईडला आहे, इथे राईट हँड साईडला आहे, तो कॅन्सल होईल. ओके, परत काय कॅन्सल होईल पहा, ओ हे कॅन्सल होईल. काय राहतं पहा, NO गॅसेस प्लस O3, NO गॅसेस प्लस O3. सो दॅट गिव्स व्हॉट, NO2 गॅसेस प्लस O2 गॅसेस. ओव्हरऑल रिॲक्शन जसं आपण थर्मोकेमिकल ॲडिशन, सबस्ट्रॅक्शन, डिव्हायडेशन ऑलरेडी आपण शिकलेलो आहोत. बॅलन्सिंग ऑफ द केमिकल रिॲक्शन त्याचा यूज इथे आपल्याला होऊ शकतो. ओव्हरऑल रिॲक्शन लिहायची आहे. काय स्टेप फर्स्ट इज स्लो. The rate law of the reaction is predicted from its stoichiometry. It is the rate determining step. First one is the slowest step and rate determining step that is given in the example in the numerical. O is produced in step first and consumed in step second. See here, O is produced in the first step and immediately used in the second step. So that's why, so that is the reaction intermediate. So that's all. So we'll stop here. So thanks. Don't forget to like and subscribe this channel, so in order to watch the incoming videos. So thanks, we stop here.